Say hi. Say hi to everybody. Oh, come on. Good. Happy Sunday. Good morning, everybody. It's me, Teri Hunter, and I'm here with Lucky. It's an eclipse day, depending upon where you are in the world. July 4th or 5th is our third eclipse in 6 weeks. Oh my goodness, these are unprecedented times. Lucky loves to say hi, but not in front of the camera because he doesn't know you're out there. Sorry, so I'm going to let him know. Okay, here we go. Oh, hold on one second, right back. I don't know, I'm disorganized this morning. Good morning, CJD. Okay. I'm a little disorganized this morning. I have no idea why. Maybe it's the eclipse. Maybe it's all of this crazy energy going on. Okay, so what I wanted to say is that, okay, so this eclipse is on a full moon. We know it's in Capricorn. We know Capricorn represents government, authority, restriction. We're visiting a lot of themes over and over again as we go into these retrogrades, and I'm wearing my little full moon necklace here today. So what I wanted to say to you guys is that the next 6 months, the rest of 2020, is a continued roller coaster ride. We will see things and experience things that I keep wanting to use the word revolutionary times. And I say that because we're all these transits are offering us opportunities to really reflect on what is making us happy, what is not making us happy, and how we want to live our lives on this planet. And it's happening almost like the rings on a tree, you know, in our individual lives, in our communities, in our states, in our countries, and so on around the earth plane. So, good morning, Faith. Good morning, CJD. Good morning, Monica. Good morning, Nikki. Good morning, Michael. Good morning, Mali Doma. So good to see you. Good morning, Small Wildflowers. So I hope everybody's being gentle with yourself. If you're feeling emotional, if you're feeling cranky, Mars has moved into Aries, which is its home sign, which is great. But it's also, you know, can make people feel a little bit, I believe Mars is squaring Mercury right now, and that could, you know, create a little bit of tension. So the best we can do to be mindful of our own behavior, because we can't really be sure what's going to be happening out there in the world. And I want to say this too. This particular eclipse falling on the 4th of July here in the United States it's our Independence Day. And if I remember correctly, the eclipse is most visible over the United States. So we're going to see some very interesting things continue to happen here in the United States as we rethink our home and government, home and work, and how Capricorn Cancer, the axis, has been affecting us. This is also, for you Capricorns out there, the last eclipse for you guys for quite some time. So you can finally breathe a sigh of relief in that regard. Good morning, Frenchie Millie. We can call it crazy. I think anytime Frenchie's asking, do you think crazy stuff will happen? I think that people are going to start to claim their lives. And I don't know quite how that will look, because each individual will claim their lives in a different area. I think where you may be served most is to look into your birth chart and see where this axis is. For me, it's in the 4th and 10th house. So it has been really in some ways very obvious to me and kind of kooky, because the minute we went out of the Leo Aquarius axis and into the Cancer Capricorn axis, I started having issues with my neighborhood and construction and all this upheaval. So I'm kind of glad to see the nodes moving out of that, and that this axis is pretty much almost over. So I'm kind of excited about that. I want to welcome, hi Thibaut. Who did I miss? Masha. I saw somebody else I missed. Hi Jules. I saw Michael. Hi Val. You cut your hand. Oh my goodness, that would be so Aries. Magical Original Gal, welcome. Victoria, welcome. I think I got everybody. Okay, so Cirrus, welcome. Nicole, welcome. Okay, so what I'm going to do is you guys have resonated with the Kyle Gray deck. And so we're going to pull one card as sort of a theme for today, for the tribe, for as a collective. This deck is something that's really resonated with me. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to move this. Here we go. So there it is, Kyle Gray. So if you guys are interested, really fun deck. It's new to me, so I'm learning about it. But I also allow my intuition. Thank you, Shelley. Welcome, Lucky Sparkle. Welcome, Tammy. Welcome, Jewel. Welcome, Marta. Welcome, Latoya. Zemotes Lady, welcome. Sam, welcome. Okay, so we're going to, as I said, we're going to pull one card that's just going to give us as a collective, not as an individual sign or anything like that. Okay. Welcome, Boise. Okay. Oh, the star ancestor. Follow the voice of your soul. If this isn't what I was just talking about with this eclipse, I don't know what is. So the star ancestor, which is interesting to me because here we are talking about astrology. We're talking about how the stars and the astrological weather affects our lives. Never has it been more obvious than when the Pluto-Saturn conjunction started. And as the other planets joined the party, it just became more and more obvious. So I want to offer this eclipse, this lunar eclipse. You know, it's interesting because the moon rules Cancer, home, hearth, and then it's in Capricorn. So I feel like this is really an opportunity to go past the surface level of what's expected of you, what the momentum you've already created. Well, you know, Sally always brings her egg salad to the party. Sally doesn't want to make her egg salad anymore. She's like, I'm over it. I'm done. You know, it takes too much time. And so now this is a liberation of old habits. And I want to say it this way. It doesn't have to be a disruptive, like breakaway, anger, see you later, you know, kind of thing, as much as it's more of a calming sort of, this is my truth. And this is where I stand. That's kind of where I want to put this. Because as we listen to the voice of our soul, not our ego, anything is possible and everything is probable. So that's what I want to say. I have not read The Star Ancestor in a while, so I don't know what the book actually says, but I'm sure that there's more elaboration there. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start with our readings. I start with Pisces and work my way backwards. It's something I did quite a few Mercury retrogrades ago, and it just sort of stuck. So here we go. Okay, welcome Ernestine. I love new names. Welcome Rye Flores. Welcome Biddy Billy. Tammy Payton. I enjoyed some potato salad and a hot dog yesterday. There were no fireworks. It was super quiet and very unusual, I have to say, because the 4th of July holiday here in the United States is one of the biggest for barbecues and parties and beach days, and all the beaches were closed. They're closed today. Okay. Pisces, rising sun, moon, and stelliums. And for those of you that are new to my Sunday show, I say stelliums because when you have a cluster of planets in one area, it's going to create a lot of energy in that area. So I think it's important to pay attention to that as well. Okay, here we go. Our first angel for Pisces is Fiona. The second is Archangel Uriel. The third is Caressa. And the final is Maya. Oh, happy birthday, Rye. Okay. Joining Fiona is the Water Fairy. Joining Archangel Uriel is the Risk card. Joining Caressa is the Swan. And joining Maya is the Mystery card. Okay, Pisces. Very interesting. The Water Fairy represents our feelings and our emotions. And then we have Fiona. And Fiona says, now that you've asked God and the angels for help, be open to receiving their guidance. I want to put it this way. Sometimes when we are in a compromised situation, when we are, I don't know, maybe we're not feeling well, maybe we have lost our job at the airlines. I want to say I'm sorry for whoever that happened to. I did see that pass by, but maybe something new is coming. Something bigger or better or clearing of some kind. Because I feel like now is a time for Pisces to use Neptune's energy to go deeper. You're ruled by Neptune and Jupiter in ancient times. Jupiter is the connection to the angelic realm. So I want to say for Pisces, during these transformational times when we are hearing things that, are quite alarming. The world, if it isn't one thing, it's another. It's not like just going through the pandemic. There are layers of this dynamic that are going on. This. When I look at Pluto and Saturn and all the retrograde, and I think about the degrees of where this is going. By the way, they all square my sun and my Mars. But my point is that there are degrees that are considered volatile. The 22 degree is volatile. And as we move and we hit these points, the volatile point doesn't have to be in a way that's destructive as much as it can be a way that's constructive. Sometimes you have to destruct something to rebuild it. It's kind of like a renovation. So the world right now is going through a renovation. And I feel like for Pisces, you've been calling forth a renovation of your life. But at the same time, there's a part of you that's looking at what's happening right now in your own life, wherever you are, and trying to compare how will it happen or how will it play out. And there's a wobble in your energy, which makes sense because we're in very stressful times right now. So it's hard to think, to look at the way we used to do things and go, okay, I'm gonna make this plan and I'm gonna implement it this way, when all these other things are going on. Because this is the deal for Pisces. I know you're frustrated. Archangel Uriel will talk about frustration, about anger, about unforgiveness. And then there's the risk card. This risk card is about risking a bigger picture. So here, even though you're frustrated, and I'm going to go to the angel's advice, we have Caressa and the Swan. These two positions work in tandem. Caressa talks about the end of a life cycle. What are we on? We're on a lunar eclipse full moon, the end of a life cycle. The end of one cycle begins the next cycle. So now Pisces is being asked to move beyond their frustration, to turn that frustration or anger or unforgiveness over to Archangel Uriel and risk the intuitive transformation of knowing as this chapter ends that you will go from the ugly duckling to the swan. And here you will learn so much about your choices. The mystery is the choice card for me. God gave us free will on this planet. And this is the whole point, is to choose the vibration that works the best for us. And Maya is about schooling and education. So here in the final position, because the first and the fourth position work in tandem. So we have the foundation is turning over so much of what you cannot see. How will I make things happen? How will I move forward? How will I find a new job during these times? So now is a time to turn it over to spirit and then learn something about that. So here's kind of how I want to round it out. There are times when I work for myself, so there's no weekends, there's no holidays. It's just all waiting for clients to call and then booking. So some days I don't think I'm doing anything, and then the day just unfolds. So that sometimes can be a little exhausting because I don't make time to clean my house or to do certain things that sort of squeeze that into the meantime. So when I have taken time to take care of my everyday business, it can set me in a vibration where I don't want people to call. And then they don't call. And then I get through with whatever the chore was that I wanted to do. And I have this little moment of, oh my God, nobody's called. Nobody wants to schedule. But what I realize is I shut my vibration down. I didn't want people to call. So when I open it back up and say, I'm ready, boom, 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 the phone starts to ring. People start to text out of nowhere, or what appears to be out of nowhere. But that is the part of the connection with spirit and allowing spirit to take over what I can't see. So for Miriam, a car, you did lose your job in the airline. Maybe this will afford you the thought or the feeling of opening up. Well, I like working in that industry, but maybe this particular airline or this particular dynamic wasn't really serving me. It might have been paying my bills, but I was getting a little burnt out. So now there's an opportunity to open up and to say to spirit, I liked this dynamic and this dynamic about, I love to travel. I love the adventure of it, but I didn't like this and this, and then recalibrating that. Okay. I hope that made sense. I'm going to go on to my Aquariuses. Again, I go backwards, a rising sun, moon, and stelliums. I swear this group, you guys, Nikki and Tebow, you crack me up. You're like on Survivor. You guys talk about food so much. It makes me laugh. And I didn't pour my tea before I started the show. Oh, I'm so not together. Okay, here we go. Hi, William. Welcome. Copy the investments. Welcome. Oh, that's very nice of you to come in and offer your help. Okay. Aquarius, rising sun, moon, and stelliums. Here we go. Shelley. The Mercury retrograde will be over on the 12th, I believe. Okay, here we go. Teresa is our first angel for Aquarius. The second is Vanessa. The third is Chantal. And the final is Ray. Oh, Livy. Hi, love you too. Sending lots of love to everybody in the chat, everybody watching the video. Thank you for joining. Welcome, Teri G. Okay, I like to say hi to everybody because this is I want to remind everybody who's new or who has, I'm sorry, I don't mean to say remind. I want to just let everybody know this Sunday morning is not just about the readings, guys. The readings are part of it, but it's really about creating community, spiritually minded people coming together just to share our lives, to share our vibration, and to help anchor this planet into a loving vibration. That's the way I think of it. So while I enjoyed doing the videos, I enjoy the live interaction more. Good morning, Patricia. Good morning, Yasmin. Good morning, Kimberly. Good morning, Tanya. I said hi to Teri. Winnie, good morning. Brazilian Yogi, welcome. Okay. Aquarius, joining Teresa is the Serpent. Joining Vanessa is the Love card. Joining Chantal is the Partnership card. And joining Ray is the Communications card. Okay. So I want to put this is very interesting to me because Teresa is a card of worry for me. She is a card where I'm taking care of others. I'm sort of self-sacrificing, and in doing so, I'm getting burnt out. So here I want to say to Aquarius, worry is a form of prayer that doesn't serve you. It puts your attention and your intention in the very situation you do not want to experience. So as you allow yourself to see, where am I putting my worry, you will be able to shed a skin to feel a sense of, worry is honestly 99.9% of the time, worry is a projection into the future of the situation you don't want to happen. And what are we living through right now? These crazy times where everybody's, it's like in and out, stay at home, don't stay home, wear a mask, don't wear a mask. It's this weird, well, I don't even know how to describe it. I mean, we're all living through it together. So what I'm trying to say is that as you can identify, where am I worrying? Where am I fretting? Where am I putting energy in a situation that quite has not happened? Because in the opportunity, the obstacle for Aquarius, this is the love card and Vanessa asking you to, am I basing my decisions on faith or fear? What is worry? Worry is fear of a situation that I don't want to experience. So Spirit is asking you to focus in on love. And I want to put it this way, because when I saw Chantal and the partnership card and the angel's advice, Chantal is a romance angel. But I don't think this is about romance. I think that this is about following what you love. I think that this is about the partnership of the two sides of yourself. You know, Aquarius is ruled by Saturn and Uranus. Saturn is all about rules and regulations. Uranus is all about freedom and liberation. So you can imagine, I mean, if you're an Aquarius, I'm not, how sometimes that can be maddening, going back and forth. So I feel like what Spirit is asking you during this lunar eclipse, when we're saying on this full moon goodbye to some things we don't want, we want to transform them into things that we do want to experience. So as you as Aquarius, rather than being scientifically minded and worrying Saturn about things you can't control, then you can move forward in your connection to Spirit. This is Ray. This is a meditative position. And there's the communications card. I feel like for Aquarius, this week, this full moon lunar eclipse is about identifying where you're projecting into the future a situation you don't necessarily want to experience, and then giving yourself an opportunity to flip the script. Okay. And I want to say it this way, because when we're worried about something, it's kind of hard to just stop the worry, because especially if it's like something that we love, something that we are, let's say we're concerned about a loved one, or we're concerned about money, something that's big. That's when I go to Spirit and I say, thank you for giving me evidence that I am putting my faith in you is solid, that this is actually something I can put down onto this earth plane and hang my hat on, because I am a human in this. I mean, I may be a soul, but I'm inhabiting this human experience. I've come under the veil of unknowing. So Spirit, thank you for helping me to shed the skin of worry so that I can sit in stronger communication with you, so that I can base my decisions and my actions on love and feel the faith of your support. So that's where I want to put it. These are times when faith may be challenging, because there's so much evidence of disruption. There's so much evidence of unrest and unhappiness and inequality. And in some ways, the very focus of that is akin to Teresa. It's creating, it's like a magnet. So there's a fine line between the identifying of what is not wanted and then the ability to shift into the dynamic that is wanted. And I think that's kind of what we're all going through. You know, here it is. It's 4th of July weekend in the United States. It's what we call Independence Weekend. And in some ways, each one of us is going through our own individual revolution. And it's the revolution of our mind and our heart, and putting them in some sort of synchronistic. If you think about in some ways, it's kind of like the mind, where the ego lives, will always look at the earth plane as if it is solid, and it will try to move the pieces around. And it's the heart that will really, we need that heart, because the heart doesn't see the pieces, it sees the bigger picture. And we need to sort of marry those two. So for those of you that are new to the show, my name is Teri Hunter. I am not Lada. Lada is quite much younger than I am. So thank you for thinking I'm Lada. But I am Teri Hunter. I'm an angel therapist. Connect with Spirit to help us traverse the transits. So it's akin to looking at what's going on in the skies and how can we best serve ourselves and others, and standing in love. So that's what I do here on the planet. Exactly, Tammy. Follow your heart. It will never fail. Exactly. Okay, let's go on to our Capricorns. Capricorn has been going through so much. Not saying that we all aren't, but this has been, I've got a few friends who have stelliums in Capricorn, and man, what a transformational couple of years it is. Okay. Oh, yes, Lucky Sparkle. I totally agree with you. I said to somebody, I want to wear a unicorn helmet for the next 6 months. And just sort of, I said to somebody else, I'm like, this year's New Year's Eve is going to be like no other, because there's nobody on the planet that's not going to want to say, see ya 2020. Bye-bye. Good God. Okay, we're gone. Welcome, Mexico. ¿Dónde está? Okay. All right, here we go. Capricorn. Whoops. Rising Sun, Moon, and Stellium. If you have a stellium in Capricorn, this last couple of years has just probably flipped your life in many ways, from right to left, from up to down, from good to challenging. All right, here we go. Our first angel is Teresa. The second is Azure. The third is Mystique. And the final is Caressa. Good morning, Sammy's mom, Sammy. Good morning, Melissa. Yep, I tell you. Okay, Capricorn joining Teresa is dun 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 dun. Ooh, it just flew out of the deck. Is the Fear card. Well, isn't that just perfect? Joining Azure is the Love card. Joining Mystique is the Choice card. And joining Caressa is the Deer. Okay, so I want to also say, because I'm not sure that some of you that are new may not know what the positions mean. So the first position is the foundational position. It's where we sit. So here is Capricorn. Teresa's a card of worry. It's a card of taking care of others. It's a card of because I'm trying to put out all the fires. I'm my own personal fireman, and there's a brush fire, and there's no one here to help me. And then there's the Fear card. I want to say for Capricorn, and again, this last eclipse you're going to have to experience for like, I don't know, I think at least 10 years, maybe even longer. Meaning it's going to be on your axis. So here is, I want to offer opportunity to look at fear, Capricorn, as false evidence appearing real. What am I worrying about that maybe is not in play, or it's out of my control? Capricorn will want to control things, and not in the same way that Pluto will, but in a way to make sure that the rules are followed and the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. And right now the language is changing. So now I think Capricorn, it's a time to start to really focus in on, what do you love? Yes, 2028. Okay, so it's 28 years. Yay. Thank you, Faith, for checking that for me. Because Azure says that your desired outcome will happen in the near future. Have faith. Don't try to force it. Force is a resistant energy. It really goes back to, I don't know if it's really going to happen. I'm fearful, and I'm projecting out into the future what I'm fearful about that may not come into this earthly experience. Because when I go into my opportunity and or my obstacle, it's one coin, two sides. And it's, where am I looking? Because when you look, you have an opportunity to put your focus in a direction. When you look towards what you're worried about, what you fear, then that tends to kick in a law of attraction. So now it's time to focus in on what you love. Because Capricorn, in the angel's advice, Spirit is saying, Mystique is saying, keep charging ahead. Keep making the choice to follow what you love, what's truest to your heart. And this is what can be so incredibly transformational, because I believe that Saturn rewards the being energy. I believe that Saturn has been evolving like the rest of us, and is really not just about the hammer all the time, but actually the hammer saying, are you being authentic to what's your truth? Are you working hard at what you love? Are you being authentic to you? And I will reward you. But if for some reason you've been inauthentic and you're basing things on something outside of yourself or somebody else's agenda, following somebody else's rules, it's time for that to come to a conclusion. Because here's Caressa saying you're at the end of a life cycle, and now is time to be gentle and diplomatic as you walk through your fears. The deer could be a deer in the headlights, and we go right back to Teresa, and we go right back to the fear card. So this is an opportunity to put an end to false evidence appearing real and starting to implement and to initiate a new chapter of being gentle with yourself as you walk through that dynamic and you reestablish what is actually happening now and when you've been projecting out into the future. Okay, that's what I have to say for Capricorn. Thank you very much. Small wildflowers, you're giving me a tip, girlfriend. You're so sweet and generous. Thank you. You know, you work as hard as I do every Sunday. So, oh, Lucky Sparkle, thank you so much. I hope, did you see my dog Lucky in the beginning of the video? He doesn't like to be on camera very much. But anyway, all right, let's go on to our Sagittariuses. Sagittarius rising and Stelliums. I think about Jupiter. I just think about, all these, Jupiter joined the party, and the whole time that Saturn and Pluto were creeping towards each other, I personally, because I'm not an astrologer, I'm an angel therapy practitioner, I never looked at the creeping planets joining the party. And when I realize now, and I think about it, it seems so obvious in retrospect that when Jupiter joined the party, everything was going to go boom, and it did. So now we get to be like phoenixes and rise from the ashes. All right, on to our Sagittarius. It's rising sun, moon, and stelliums. I agree with you, William. I love the earth plane. I love everything about, I honestly believe there's a tree that, as I walk to the market, and I swear within the trunk, there is an old surfer that looks like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. And I swear when I see it, I feel like he's going, "Shucka, bro." And I used to live in a place called Costa Mesa. And there was a tree outside of my apartment, and it had a wizard that was inside of the bark. And you kind of had to look at it. It wasn't quite obvious, but it was totally had grown that way. And my brother-in-law, who is like not into this stuff at all, one day he came over and I'm like, "Do you see anything inside that tree trunk?" And he goes, "I see a man's face." And I couldn't believe that he saw it. So I was convinced it was a wizard because I could see the hat and everything else. But anyway, so yes, I love nature. I look for signs. And when you listen to me every week, you will hear me say that God and the angels talk to us through nature, through the signs and the omens here on the earth plane. And that's often how I get my confirmation. You know what I noticed with the notifications is I think I used to have it on personal notifications, and I subscribed to certain people, and I wasn't getting notifications. So I had to put it on all, and that's how I got notifications. So I don't know. Oops. All right, let's go on to Sagittarius before, it's tomorrow. For those of you that are new, Teri talks too much in class. It's well documented since her first kindergarten class. Okay, our first angel for Sagittarius is Xana. The second is Athena. The third is Archangel Uriel. And Isabella is the final. William, are you in Hawaii? I love the sound of Mahalo. This sounds happy. It just sounds so. I love the Hawaiian Islands. I've been there a couple times. I feel like I'm at home. We're going to get to Virgo soon, Anna. I go backwards. I start at Pisces and work my way towards Aries. Welcome, Anne, as well. I think I said hi to Michael. Okay, here we go. Joining Xana is the Perception card. Joining Athena is the Joy card. Joining Archangel Uriel is the Lady of the Lake. And joining Isabella is the High Priestess. Okay, Sagittarius, rising sun, moon, and stelliums. And again, a stellium is a group of planets. 4 planets is kind of the standard. 3, some people say, in one sign or one house. So here we go. Xana is the angel of protection, and then we have the Perception card. I think this is very interesting because I feel like when I look at this right now for Sagittarius, we've been having this dynamic of people being polarized in their beliefs. We are, the right and the left, the red and the blue, the black and the white. So I feel like with Sagittarius representing higher knowledge, seeing things from a bigger perspective, I feel like Spirit is trying to say that your perceptions are being protected. The bigger picture that you see, the broad coming up over the earth and being able to see the whole of it. Because Spirit is asking Sagittarius to lovingly assert themselves towards joy, towards the things that bring them joy, and in many ways to have the courage to walk away from frustration. This planet right now is being liberated from old chains and old dynamics that don't serve the happiness of the soul. The soul comes to the earth plane for the contrasting experiences. It comes for the challenges. It does not really want to be oppressed per se, but when we get here, the veil of unknowing, the thinking that this place is solid, it tends to mess with our perceptions. So what I want to say is, I'm going to go to the final position real quickly. Yes, Isabella is saying the timing is right to get back to the vision of your own life, Sagittarius. The big vision, the huge vision, the vision that's saying, I've been working in this job, and while it served a certain purpose, I'm pretty sure that maybe I've outgrown it right now. This is just an example. Maybe it's time for me to start to open up to really assert myself in my mind and in my heart towards the things that bring me joy and love. And in doing so, I can see in many ways that I can let go of a lot of frustrations when I have the courage to speak my deeper truth to myself. And I want to offer it this way, Sagittarius, because if this deeper truth in some ways, let's say you've been working for 10 years, you started a job, and it pays good money, you're well respected, and yet it's not an industry you like. Let's say you're in import export and you've always wanted to be an artist. All right. I feel like it's time to start to allow yourself the bigger vision of what you want. It's not about throwing the baby out with the bathwater, but it's about lovingly asserting yourself towards what brings you joy. And in doing so, you will be protected as you step into this higher perspective of things and let go of the frustration of not living your truth. So I'm going to just kind of round it out with a little example. My last job, I worked for a chiropractor. And while there were certain elements of I liked working for the chiropractor, I learned a lot about nutrition, about supplements, about how to take care of my body. I did not enjoy the routine. I did not enjoy making no money. I did not enjoy being trapped to somebody else's agenda. And I was really annoyed by it. And I just kept declaring in my frustration, I would drive home from work and I would go to Walk Lucky and let him tinkle during the day. And I used to tell him, pretty soon I'm going to be able to walk you whenever I want. And within a year, I was. And I didn't realize I was making a declaration because I kept putting myself into my future. Even though I was pissed off, I kept talking about it to the dog, not to anybody else, because anybody else would have thought I was crazy. In fact, my whole family thinks I'm crazy. Not in a bad way. Well, maybe, I don't know. I don't think they think I'm crazy like she's going to go off, but they don't get this. They don't understand astrology. They don't get the connection to the angelic realm. They don't get the way that I process. They also don't manifest the way I do either. And I say that because I'm proud of the way I manifest. So Sagittarius, as you allow yourself to go to that bigger vision of yourself. Take the how out, go to spirit and say, this is what brings me joy. This is what I like. And this is what I'm really ready to let sit on the side of the road. Spirit will start to open up dynamics and small opportunities that will turn into bigger opportunities. But you've got to be brave enough to walk through the small opportunities so that you can get your sea legs and feel comfortable as the bigger opportunities present themselves moving forward. And as I say that, I want to go into 2021. Okay. All right. Here we go. Let's on to Scorpio. Welcome, Tammy. I hope I said hi to Tammy. CJD, I totally get it. When family doesn't get it, it's super hard. But that's why we create different kinds of families. We have our friendship family. We have our Sunday morning family, our tribe, the way we connect together to support each other in our spiritual journey as we start to give life to the idea that there are things and forces out there that are beyond our eyesight. We don't see air, and yet we breathe it. And the only time we're aware of air is when there is none of it. But you still can't see it. All right, Scorpio. First angel is Athena. The second angel is Fiona. The third is Merlina. And the final is Archangel Uriel. I laugh because 3 of the 4 cards just came out again. Stephen is in Colorado with his partner celebrating the holiday. He was going to be gone for 2 weeks. He did send me a little text yesterday wishing me a happy 4th of July and everybody else. Okay. Welcome, Honey D. My grandmother was into astrology, and for a small while, it seemed that the family was a little more open-minded, and then it got very religious. And God takes care of all the decisions for everybody. I don't know when God has time to sleep or eat or do anything else because he's making decisions for billions of people and beings, but that's how they look at it. So it's all good. Welcome, Scott. So good to see you here. Okay, going on to our Scorpio is being joined. Athena's being joined by the horse. Fiona's being joined by the wealth card. Merlina's being joined by the disruption card. And Archangel Uriel is being joined by the Grail Knight. Wow. Okay. So Scorpio, ruled by Pluto and Mars. And I want to say it this way because it's time to dig deep in a higher vibration to realign what you think Pluto means. I want to say that because Athena is saying that it's safe to lovingly assert yourself. And the horse, for me, is talking about going into a new direction. It's about asserting myself. And this is not necessarily moving my body. I feel like when I saw this, I said Sagittarius because the idea of the horse hit me, and the idea of pulling my perspective up, allowing myself as a Scorpio. We could tend to go down the dark drain, and during these transformational times when everything we watch is pummeling us with this challenging dynamic, it's hard to start to see the light, to rise above it all. And I feel like for my Scorpios, it's time to start to contemplate going into a new direction. And I don't mean that, again, it's not necessarily a physical direction. It feels more like a spiritual and emotional direction, giving life to a bigger idea. Because here, Fiona is saying, now that you've asked God and the angels for help, be open to receiving. And there's the harmonious wealth card. I call it the harmonious wealth card because to me, money is not truly bring wealth. Wealth arrives when I feel like I'm thriving in my emotional body, my physical body, my family body, my financial body, my mental body. And this being my opportunity is to turn over to spirit what will bring me that wealth. Because I, as a Scorpio, don't know. I'm still confused, and I'm confused by this. There's so much disruption. And I want to say it this way, because here we are on a lunar eclipse, full moon. What does that bring? Endings of things. But what does an ending do? It ushers in a new beginning. And I feel like when I say that, that's what Merlina is about. is there are endings happening all around us, and they don't have to be huge endings. They can be little endings, small little things. This week I decided, I just was like, I'm not drinking. I just right now I don't feel like having, like normally I would have a beer or some sort of toddy or something on the 4th of July, but I have not felt like it. And I almost felt like Spirit is saying to me, during these times, I will actually feel better and be less apt to going down the drain of all that's around me when I'm balancing my body. Now, this is a personal decision for me, but I want to say it because I've been very frustrated because people, in my opinion, I want us all to, I'm a Libra. I want everything to be fair. And it's really not. So this is where I'm going, Scorpio, is you've been frustrated because you haven't really been able to dig deep into what is your deepest truth, what is your sacred to you. And now it's super time to start to move forward in that. So let me give you an example. Let's say you've been in a dating situation. Let's say that, we can't do that. William, no cussing on this show. I'm sorry, we don't do that. Okay, so let's say for Scorpio, you've been in a relationship. It could be a work relationship. It could be a intimate relationship. It could be a sibling relationship. It could be any sort of relationship. I want you to start to think about, is that relationship truly serving me, or is that relationship some sort of habit that I have? I'm used to being in this situation. I'm used to this person. I'm used to this dynamic in my life. And now it's time to lovingly assert myself as a Scorpio to go deeper into what is my truth and to move into that direction. The horses on the face of the card will talk about accepting help from another and delegating authority. I think that's accepting help from Spirit, delegating to Spirit what it is I want so that I can stop feeling frustrated and really start to step into what is my deeper truth, what will make me feel happy. As I look at this and as I go deeper into Scorpio, I feel like there's a potential that there's the influence of outside people making you feel not as valuable as you should feel. I feel like I want to say to Scorpio, rising sun, moon, and stelliums especially, that as you really look and transform the idea of that Plutonian thing, Pluto transformed is not shocked by the craziness of the world. Pluto transformed sees a wisdom to disruption and to confusion, and how we can turn ourselves over to Spirit to bring in, to see the wisdom of whatever's happening. And I feel like that's the opportunity that's happening for Scorpio, is where in my own personal little life, and then as we said in the community and state, and we go into the bigger rings of our life, where have I been shaving things off or compromising too much or just dismissing what I need in order to be accepted by others that aren't giving me what I need. And it's time to really turn over that frustration and then to step into what is truly sacred for you, Scorpio. Okay, let's go on to Libra. Okay. I have been fortunate enough to feel the connection to Spirit for me that's really it's like I'm talking to another person. It's not that Spirit to me is not, how can I put it? It's not woo-woo, it's not voodoo, it's not kooky. It's more tangible to me than some of the people I meet walking on the street. So when I start to connect with Spirit and say, I want to do this, or I want to do that, or I see evidence of my guides and angels and all those that watch over me start to put things in place. And what happened was I got brave enough. I got brave enough to step into their lead, to take their direction, to take the hint. Well, I think I'm being nudged this direction. I feel like Spirit's telling me to go here. And yet I could talk myself out of it if I think too much. So my point is sometimes you got to go out on a limb, trust that instinct, and then it becomes something that becomes a physical manifestation and validation that you are standing in line with spirit and they have your back. Okay. What's going on? Is somebody talking about something inappropriate? CJD? What's going on? Is somebody doing something that we don't? Is somebody juicing, somebody putting a little fly in our ointment? I'm waiting for an answer here. Okay, so I'll go on. All right, here we go. Libra, sun, rising, moon, and stelliums. I said that all wrong. Rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Okay. I know. I want everything to be fair too, Tammy. I've told this story before, but I'll tell it quickly while I shuffle. When I was a little girl, I was still in grammar school. I used to get picked on a lot by this one family, the sister and brother team, and it really pissed me off. And I remember walking down the street with my dad and me telling him about it and going, it's just not fair. It's just not fair. And he looked at me and he said, Teri, the world's not fair. And I whipped my head around and I was like, that's a choice, Dad. It could be fair if people would just choose to be fair. I was like this since I was this big. Okay, here we go. Libra, rising sun, moon, and stelliums. Archangel Michael is the first angel. The second is Francesca. The third is Archangel Uriel. Oh my goodness, he's getting a lot of work today. And the final is Omega. Welcome, Melissa. So good to see you. Sending lots of love to you. I think I said hi to Lynn Nicole. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. It's really, I just enjoy being in my spiritual path so much. It makes me feel so much love. And I don't know why I do, but I do. I celebrated God when I was a child. Everything in church was about celebration. God was not a punishing energy. It was a loving energy. So glad I got to have that. All right, here we go. Joining Archangel Michael is the disruption card. Joining Francesca is the owl. Joining Archangel Uriel is the high priestess. And joining Omega is the wind fairy. Very interesting. All right, so Libra's an air sign. We know that, right? We know today is an eclipse. So here is Archangel Michael asking you to have the courage, Libra, to allow for this disruption. The disruption in your own life, a disruption in your communities, the disruption of the world right now. I mean, there is nothing more prevalent than upheaval right now. And what I'm trying to say here for Libra is that there is a wisdom to this. You know, there's a, when America revolutionized from England, they were pissed off to pay taxes to people who weren't even around, right? So that's kind of how it all started. Don't quote me. It's been a long time since I took a history lesson, but I feel like right now there is this sort of same dynamic where there's, at the time, the American settlers thought they were being oppressed by, the man. So now we feel like we're being oppressed by the man. And I feel like Libra, who doesn't like conflict. I mean, it likes fairness, diplomacy, harmony, peace, ruled by Venus. If you can see the wisdom of the disruption that's going on right now, it is to usher in more peace. It is to usher in more choosing of love versus something else. So I think what Archangel Michael is saying for Libra is that you're being protected, and to see a bigger picture of the disruption, because Francesca is here saying, what do you visualize right now? Focus on that, because negativity will block your progress. So if you're being torn up by the news and you're being torn up by all of this harshness right now, it's time to really see the wisdom of it over the deception of it. Because for Libra, in the angel's advice, We have the High Priestess, which is a bigger vision of things. It's a very spiritual card. It's very much connected to the angelic realm, to the divine, and also to allow this frustration. This is what Archangel Uriel talks about: frustration, unforgiveness. And it could be, I want to put it this way. It's like, as a Libra sun, I went on a media detox, and sure, the statistics and all of the news was bad, but so were the commercials. The commercials of compassion were making me cry, and I felt like I was being inundated constantly with this disruption that was depressing me. It was making me feel like, why bother? It's all just blowing up anyway. And that's not true, because there is victory to be had. And I want to say it this way, because the wind fairy talks about intellectual analysis. Oftentimes I'll think I'm overthinking things, but I think that this really is going back to looking at, there is a wisdom to this disruption. And as we start to see the world thinking differently, we are souls inhabiting a physical experience. We are not this. We aren't this. We aren't our wallets. We aren't our material goods. So for Libra, there is victory to be had as we start to analyze the wisdom of this disruption, and that it is being in some ways guided by the powers of love. And love doesn't really, from my perspective, from what Spirit has shown me, love does not villainize one thing over another. It sees a wisdom in the contrasting experiences. And I think that's part of what Libra is being asked to do, is to find the wisdom in the contrasting experiences. Sorry, I thought I lost my little heart here. Okay, on to our Virgos. Yes, the moon is, it's interesting because people have said different things, July 4th, July 5th. When I looked today, the eclipse was going to be later this evening. Last night, the moon was huge. So I'm not quite sure exactly the hour of it, but we have 6 months of effect of this. And if you think about it, this is the third eclipse on this axis within 6 weeks, maybe even 5.5 weeks. And they all have 6 months influence. That takes us all the way through these retrogrades. 2020. What does 2020 reduce down to? A 4. We are rebuilding and renovating our ways of thinking, our ways of operating. So that's where I'm going with that. On to Virgo. Hey, Lindsay. Welcome. Hi, Kayla. Did I miss any? Mountain Magic. Welcome. Yes, I agree. Libra can get stuck in one ways of balancing things. And sometimes we have to learn to pivot and shift. So here we go. All right, on to Virgo. Oh, thank you, Faith. I'm glad. Thank you so much for all the details of, because I'm not good with the details sometimes. I don't have any planets in the third house of Gemini, and my Mercury is in Scorpio. Okay, here we go. Thank you, Karen. Welcome. All right, on to our Virgos. Virgo, rising sun, moon, and stelliums. Our first angel is Isaiah. The second is Shanti. The third is Teresa. And the final is Opal. Okay. Ooh. All right, Virgo. Isaiah is being joined by Merlin. Shanti is being joined by the partnership card. Teresa is being joined by the wind fairy. And Opal's being joined by the serpent. CJD Teri, cardinal signs, Aries, Cappy, Cancer, and the four corners, Capricorn, Aries, Cancer, and Libra. Those are the cardinals. Hi, Bombay. Stood here. Welcome. Okay, Virgo. In the foundational position, we have Merlin and we have Isaiah. Isaiah says it's time to give birth to new ideas, new situations, and new dynamics within your life, that you're being guided and protected during this time. And then here's Merlin offering alchemy, balance, and pressure. Oftentimes, I see Merlin as a karmic card. It's almost as if I see Merlin as this magical time in a person's life when we have contracted to step into the magic. So I think for Virgo, it's time to give birth to new ideas and time to step into the magic of your life, into the things that bring you the most peace and joy. Because here we have Shanti and the partnership card. And I, on some level, think for Virgo that this may be a partnership outside of yourself and that could potentially bring you peace. But I also want to say that I think this is a partnership within yourself. And I say that because Virgo is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is squaring Mars right now. And I want to say that this wind fairy is showing up in the angel's advice, and there's Teresa, the card of worry. So I want to offer my Virgos, this is in the angel's advice. It's time to stop and think about what you're thinking about and to start to give life to more peace in your life and creating a partnership. I want to say it this way, because if Virgo would like to meet somebody and create a partnership that is in this world, that's one level. But there's also the partnership with Virgo that believes you can give life to meeting that partner. Let's say that you're of a certain age and you haven't really met anybody. And you're thinking, oh, I'm not quite as young as I used to be, blah, 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 whatever your story is. I feel like that's part of what the alchemy is, the karmic time to give life to the idea that there is magic out there and that you have come to a certain place in your own evolution that is allowing for that magic to come in. Because in your opportunity or obstacle, Shanti, the angel of peace, is saying something must be moved out in order to form that partnership. And what I think needs to be moved out is the worry. Virgo is going to look at your life practically. Well, this is where I've been. This is where I'm going. This is what's happened. So this is what will continue to happen. This is time. This is in the angel's advice. It's time to turn all over those stories, all of those thoughts, all of that worry onto spirit. Because we have Opal and we have the serpent. And I do not believe that Opal is talking about children. I think this is about the inner dream. And I want to say this. If indeed Virgo has wanted to be in a partnership with another person, or even let's say it this way, maybe you want to be in partnership with a part of yourself that you think is frivolous. Let's say you're a Virgo who thinks your creativity is playtime. It's not. Your creativity is key to your productivity. It's key to your ability to enjoy your life. So what I want to say is that Opal is your dream body. Opal is representing your dreams. And now it's time for this knowledge and this healing and the shedding of a skin to allow yourself to give life, that there is magic on this planet. And there's more going on than you can necessarily see with your eyes. I have been shown by Spirit a lot over the last couple of years that there is a part of this great awakening is that we're going to dismantle, Livy, the way we age, and we're going to rebuild it. So many of us are going to experience the greater, the more satisfying, the more fulfilling parts of our life in a later season. So let's say you're of a certain age. Let's say you're over 40 and you have never married, as I have never married, never had children. And you're thinking, well, I'm pretty good by myself. Virgo, I think that this is time to start to open up to, what, I would like companionship in my life. I would like someone to go to dinner with. I would like someone to talk about astrology with. And as you open up to that idea, you'll be shedding a skin. You'll be adopting a childlike innocence, which will allow Spirit to inspire new ideas, new thoughts, and new situations that will then bring in a new situation for you. Okay, so that's where I'm going with that. In a nutshell, it feels like whatever Virgo has sort of put aside, sort of said, well, it would be nice, but, I don't know. It's time to put this forward and to say, you know what? I really do want that. I really would like that. And I'm thanking Spirit for bringing me that opportunity. And then I will step into the vibration once it's presented. Okay, here we go. Thank you, Ernestine. I don't know what William, I don't know what William, I think you're talking to other people, because if you're talking to me, I don't have any clue what you're saying, because I can't keep up while I'm doing the reading. So sorry if I'm being rude. Okay, on to our Leos. Hi, Taylor, welcome. Welcome, Lindsay. I think I said hi to you. All right. Oops. Here we go. Our Leos, rising sun, moon, and stelliums. Good morning, Tessa. I hope I get everybody. Good morning, Leo. Are you a Leo? Because this is Leo we're on now. And I agree with you. Be your own best partner. If you're on your own best partner, then you'll be a better partner for others, because you'll know how to take care of yourself. All right. Yes, I think today is the full moon day. Technically, I'm pretty sure in the United States. But I could be wrong. Okay, Winnie, welcome. Here's yours. You're a Leo. Here we go. Leo, rising sun, moon, and stelliums. Okay, our first angel is Maya. The second is Crystal. The third is Merlina. And the final is Patience. Leo Weston, you should watch Virgo as well then, I'm sure you were listening if you're here, but because that stellium is pretty powerful. Okay, here we go. Leo, rising sun, moon, and stelliums. Maya is being joined by the serpent. Crystal is being joined by the truth card. Merlina is being joined by the frog. And Patience is being joined by the bear. Wow. So Leo, the first thing I see here is there's a reconciliation of your history, your story, where you've been, where you're going. And here we are, full moon. What are full moons? Full moons are the endings of things, the endings that bring in new beginnings. Now, I kind of feel like, honestly, a new moon is the ending of something as well, because it's ushering in new energy. So it's a secular thing. But I want to put it this way, because for my Leos, Maya is a card of schooling and education, but this is really much more about my energetic education. How does my energy, how do I see it as the stepping stone for my experiences? And then we have the serpent, because I believe that Leo, as you start to see your energetic dynamic, Leo, the sun rules Leo. The sun rules our solar system. And as we look at that, we tend to, I guess in some ways, I feel like what I want to say for Leo is this feels like you're being more aware of your energy and how your energy manifests itself. And I'm going to say it this way, because I'm going to go to the final position. Patience talks about studying, assessing my energy. What does she say? Now is a time to learn, study, and gather information. Enjoy being a student, because you will synthesize the knowledge in the future. And this knowledge is about your own story. It's about your own history. It's about where you come from. And I want to say that this is not necessarily negative. It's not necessarily positive. It's more about an assessment. It's about looking at things and saying, are they working for me or are they not working for me? Because in the opportunity, the obstacle is the truth card, and there's Crystal saying have faith and hope, because there's more on the horizon that you can't see. And then there's Merlina and the frog offering emotional cleanup, but not before confusion. We are in very confusing times right now. We're in very murky waters where, we call them transformational, but when that caterpillar goes into the cocoon and it starts its transformation as the butterfly, it is freaking out because it's dying and it doesn't know what's happening, but it's about to become something more beautiful. I really believe for Leo, that's what I'm looking at. I have been talking to Leo. It occurs to me that each week there's a part of me that's saying, Leo, you are fun. You represent, to me, the most fun house in the whole zodiac. It's romance, creative genius, kids. It's just all these, all the fun things in life, the things that are opposite of obligation, opposite of duty, opposite of repression. So as you go through this time of shedding a skin, of seeing how your energy starts to create your experiences, I feel like you're going to step deeper into the truth of who you are and what you are, and allow yourself the privilege of recalibrating where you've been so that it serves you and does not pull you back, does not hold you back. That's the way I want to put this. Because I feel like sometimes people give Leo, like, people tend to look at each sign and then give it like one word adjective. And sometimes, or a couple words. And sometimes people will say Leos are attention hogs, but I don't really think it's that. I think sometimes there are other dynamics which feel unsure when they walk in a room. And Leo really feels very sure of themselves often. And I feel like that's something that you can give the rest of us. And it's not about dumbing it down. It's about allowing it to transform. That's the way I'm putting it. So Maya is a card of schooling and education. The serpent is offering us knowledge and healing so that we can shed the skin and step into a deeper truth that we have yet to experience. And in doing so, there's a period of confusion, but it's also allowing me to jump to a new lily pad so that my history makes sense and I can start to use it as a tool versus as a tank. When I was younger, I went through, I don't even know how many nasty experiences. I mean, I could list them for ad nauseum. And I used to say, what's the point? Am I just some sort of punching bag here on this planet? What, am I just some sort of like dumping ground? But no, it turned into, each one of those dark times turned into a transformational tool that helped me be who I am today and helped me to be good at interpreting the cards. So here we go. Much goods given. What is your question? I don't understand. It just says what and a question mark. So I don't know what that means. We are going on to our Cancers now. Okay. Brianna asked me, do I feel the energy different when I'm reading the cards? The difference when I'm reading the cards than when I'm just Teri walking down the street is that I have such a deep trust of what's coming through that I don't even really remember what I'm saying. If you ask me to repeat, like if I'm doing a reading and someone says, what did you just say? I'll be like, I don't know. What did I just say? Because I'm just in a flow. And the flow helps me stay out of my head and wonder whether or not it's right. And so in doing that, it's helped me be more, see, it's kind of like, I think of myself as the hose and spirit is the water. So the hose doesn't do anything but facilitate the water's getting where it needs to go. And that's how I think of myself. So I don't remember any of this when it's done. I have to go back and look at it. I hope that answers your question. All right, here we go, Cancer. Hi, Patricia. Welcome. Okay, here we go. Cancer, rising, sun, moon, and stelliums. Give it a good shuffle this time. Okay, our first angel for Cancer is Indriel. The second is Seraphina. The third is Merlina again. And the final is Francesca. Okay, Indriel is being joined by the butterfly. Seraphina is being joined by the truth. Merlina's being joined by the forgiveness card, and Francesca's being joined by the mystery. Okay, so for my Cancers, Indriel is the light worker card. It indicates, that you are a light worker. You need to shine your light on this earth, that we need you. But I believe we're all light workers of some degree or another. And so what I want to say is I believe that now is a time for Cancer to focus in on shining their light at what makes them most happy, feeling most fulfilled, feeling most purposeful on this planet. And I feel like you've been going through a transformation, because I've been feeling this challenge with Cancer over the last few months of this isolation we've been experiencing. That there's two things that have been happening. There's either too much togetherness driving us all crazy, or not enough togetherness making Cancer miss home and hearth. And I feel like now is a time to surrender to the butterfly's energy, surrender to the caterpillar that is going through its transformation, and at the same time being asking Cancer to really keep their eye on shining their light, remembering to, and this is not a false sense of being positive, because sometimes, we can sometimes we're in the trying to be positive. We sometimes are inadvertently more negative, because the positive is a resistant energy. It's like a fake out. And sometimes people will say you can fake it till you make it, but you got to have a lot of momentum in believing that you're going to make it while you're faking it. So for me right now, for Cancer, I believe that this foundational position of Indriel is remembering the deepest part of yourself, remembering the light that you are, and that the light is going through a dark moment right now as it transforms, because Seraphina is offering a happy change to your family, but it comes from your deepest truth, Cancer. It comes from what's most important to you. And the angels are saying you're confused and indecisive because you don't know how it will reconcile. Forgiveness is never about forgiving somebody to me. It's about reconciling a situation so that I don't have to forgive it and I don't have to let it go. I've turned it into a tool. And so here's the angel's advice for my opportunity and or my obstacle. I believe the angels are saying to surrender to a time of uncertainty, because it will soon make sense to you, and it will offer you an opportunity for more happiness as you step into your deeper truth. Because Francesca is saying, what do you visualize right now? It will come about. Negativity will block your progress. And there's the choice card in the form of the mystery. So right now for my Cancers, while you go through this transformational time, we're all going through it. And I want to put it this way, because for the first time in my life, 60 years old, never married, never had children, I have never experienced so much of a ripple effect of transformation. I've seen it within myself. I've seen it in some of my communities and some other things, but I've never seen it so obviously me and then my community or my family and the rings on the tree all the way out to the whole earth. I mean, literally, there are people right now all over the world. Each one of you is sitting in some sort of challenge of being aware of the virus, being aware of the polarity of injustice that's happening within the dynamics of the color of our skin. So I feel like where I'm going with this is for Cancer, it could get a little overwhelming. So kind of tuck in. Remember that this is an opportunity that you can't see right now. This transformation is not, while you're still in the darkness of that cocoon, the light will be masked in some way, no pun intended. So it's an opportunity for Cancer to step into the unknown and then step into a connection with spirit. And that's what I think that Francesca is offering, because I must choose to believe in something that I can't quite see. And then what I can't quite see is the beauty that will come once the butterfly gets out of the cocoon. Okay, let's go on to our Geminis. Okay, here we go. Gemini, rising sun, moon, and stelliums. Welcome, Sandra. I don't think I missed anybody. I said hi to Kayla. I said hi to Tammy. Okay, here we go. Gemini, rising sun, moon, and stelliums. Dolly, pay attention to that. Because the black and the white immediately made me think of a bee. And what is the bee? It's my being energy. It's my attitude, my disposition. It's my thoughts as I step into any action. Here we go, Gemini. Excuse me. This is really where I missed my tea. Okay. Our first angel for Gemini is Teresa. The second is Shanti. The third is Yvonne. And the final is Isabella. I find it so interesting how we get the same angels coming out week to week for sign after sign, because there's a common theme happening as we are one tribe. You know, each one of our signs represents a different color or hue on the wheel. It's not separate of the wheel. Okay. For Gemini, joining Teresa is the mystery card. Joining Shanti is the horse. Joining Yvonne is the dog. And joining Isabella is the movement card. Okay. This is very interesting to me. So Gemini, air sign, right? I always think of Gemini as even a little bit more so than Libra, really weighing things back and forth. I think it's because of the twins, because I really believe Spirit is asking Gemini to really make a choice not to worry. Teresa is a form of worry for me. It feels very much like everything is going out and nothing is coming in. And then I'm worrying about things over and over again. Is this okay? Is that okay? Is that okay? Because I'm going to go to the final position. Yes, Isabella says the timing is right to for this new venture, and there's the movement card. I feel like there's the potential that that Gemini is wanting to move a certain chapter of your life forward, and I'm going to go there. I'm going to say I think it's your love chapter, and I'll say it because in the angel's advice I got the dog. Hold on, I don't know if I'm going to sneeze or if I'm going to yawn. Sorry, I just had a whole bodily weird function thing going on. Okay, because during these times of being isolated, and those of you that are of childbearing years or of the years, between, say, 20s to 40s, where you're, about amassing your careers, building your families, and all of this repressed energy that we've been feeling during 2020 could be making you feel like it's hopeless. And I feel like don't go there, because that worry is a form of prayer that doesn't serve you. It puts your attention and intention in the very experience you don't want to have. And then that focus, if it is engaged long enough in the situation you don't want, is going to trigger the laws of attraction. So what I think Spirit is saying is it's time to go a new direction and to follow where the peace is. And I say that because Yvonne is a card of vulnerability, and there's the dog. And I feel like this is about Gemini telling a new story. What if it's all working out for me? What if the disruption I've been feeling or the lack that I've been feeling is serving a greater purpose? And so as I give myself the opportunity to think in a new direction, I can be vulnerable to what I really want in the way of love. And when I say love is not always just intimate love. It's the love of friends, the love of family, the love of community, the respect of and love of our coworkers and our community. This is really, this year is so much about transformation on the individual, but it's not just the individual. It's like a trifecta. It feels like it's country and state and community and world community. So yes, the timing is right to give life to new ideas, and you will engage new movement in your life. And I want to offer it this way. I mentioned earlier in the broadcast that I had been a little bit that when I work a lot, when I have a lot of clients, I'll get tired and I'll want some time off, but I don't ever take time off because I don't. That's that little scarcity thought. And so when I'm overly tired, it's almost as if my energy supersedes my worry, and it'll get quiet. People won't call and they won't book. It'll only last a day or so, because then once I've had my rest and I tell Spirit, okay, I'm really ready, I'm opening the door back up, and boom. And it just happened to me this last week. It was super, super, super quiet all week. I personally was feeling a little run down, was super tired. I don't know if it was this eclipse coming up, whatever. And on Friday, I woke up feeling, so much more energized. And boom, my day blew up. I mean, literally 5 appointments, and I only had 1 or 2 scheduled when I started. So this is where I'm going with that for Gemini. So as you honor the deeper truth of what your vibration is, when you're looking at that, and then you're allowing yourself the privilege of that disruption, shutdown, because it's going to open something up to be more aligned to what you want. That's where I'm going. Okay. Faith, we have 3 more eclipses this year. I'm pretty sure we have 3 more, 6 this year total. A lot of the astrologers are talking about it because it's very rare. We have so many rare aspects astrologically this year, from the 6 eclipses to the Pluto, Saturn. And when you put Jupiter in there, it doesn't happen that often. Yes, well, Jupiter and Saturn will meet each other quite often, but they don't end up in Capricorn with Pluto at these degrees very often. Hundreds of years go by. And if you think about it, every time there is, at least within my personal country, the United States, we've seen, the American Revolutionary War, we've seen the Civil War, we've seen other wars in between, but the big ones seem to be within every couple 100 years or 100 years, and it feels very secular to me in some way. Okay, and the energies of these eclipses, these 3 that we've experienced, are going to last 6 months. So it'll take us all the way through the end of 2020. And then the ones we experience in the fall, when those eclipses come, they're going to take us into 2021. And if I remember correctly, the dynamics of all these planets will have dispersed by spring of 2021, and there'll be some sort of settling into a new norm. Yes, and Neptune is retrograde in Pisces right now. So that might be a little bit why I felt like giving up the spirits, because I didn't think I was drinking much, but it was affecting me in a different way. And maybe it's because I turned 60. I don't know, but it just was not as attractive to me. Okay, here we go. On to our Tauruses and then Aries, and we'll finally be done. I'm going to move along here. Okay. Taurus, rising sun, moon, and stelliums. And let us not forget that Uranus is transiting Taurus right now. So all Tauruses are going to feel a bit of liberation coming their way, and maybe feeling slightly anxious. Okay, here we go. Our first angel for Taurus, rising sun, moon, and stelliums is Grace and Antoinette. The second is Oceana. The third is Merlina. And the final is Ariel. Welcome, Keitra. Good to see you. My moon is in Tauruses as well. Welcome, Ashanti. I don't think I said hi to you yet. Okay, thank you, small wildflowers. All right, joining Grace and Antoinette is the water fairy. Joining Oceana is the cat. Joining Merlina is the dog. And joining Ariel is the partnership card. The first thing I want to say when I looked at this is I feel like Grace and Antoinette is a card of compassion, and it talks about having compassion for another and seeing things from another person's point of view. And then I see the water fairy, and I felt like this was about having compassion for Tauruses, the way they're feeling, because the final position is Ariel. Talks about new psychic and spiritual experiences changing the way you view yourself in the world. And there's the partnership card. And I don't think this is a partnership within yourself. I think this might be an actual partnership that you want. The resurgence of connectedness within a relationship. Because I feel like when I look at Grace and Antoinette and the water fairy, I felt a sense of melancholy. I felt single. I felt like I wish I was in a relationship. I wish there was somebody that I could be, making dinner with or hanging out with. Because Oceana in the Angel's advice, in the Opportunity of the Obstacle, is talking about taking action and getting in touch with your truth. And then there's the cat. And the cat can talk about healthy boundaries and independence, but I think it's about 9 lives. And I think maybe it's Taurus. I, as a Taurus moon, can be quite stubborn. I'll be honest. And when I think I'm right about something, I've tried to be softer about it, but history would dictate that when I feel like I'm right about something, I tend to stick to it. And Taurus may be feeling right that their love life isn't working, or that things aren't working, or that it's hard, or that, what you want is not coming about. And I think that this is about the opportunity is to think my love life has more lives than I may know about it. And now it's time to get really in touch with what I want in the way of my love life. And then in the Angel's advice, Merlina says, I'm confused because I haven't experienced my love life yet. I haven't experienced that love the way that I want it. So maybe I'm starting to think I'm never going to experience it. Maybe it doesn't exist. Maybe it's just what people say it is. And I don't think that's true, Taurus. And I think it's time to now's the time to get stubborn in believing that your partnership, the one that you want, the one that really offers you the love that you're looking for, is coming through spirit and through the connection to spirit. And I want to put it this way. I don't think this is about going on christianmingle.com or, trying to find a spiritual venue to put yourself in. I think it's about having compassion to start to think about, well, maybe the reason that I haven't experienced what I want is because none of what's been presented was really aligned to where I want to be, including myself, Taurus. There's something a little bit about Taurus where I can personally say, as a Taurus moon, that when I contemplate my love life, I don't contemplate it as an open road. I see potholes. I see toilet seats up. I see loud, heavy breathing sometimes, and it immediately turns me off. So I get to have compassion for the way I've been feeling about my love life. I get to give life to the new idea and get deep with the truth. And in some ways, stop trying to figure it out myself and instead focus on what it feels like when I'm in this situation, when I'm feeling loved. What does it feel like when I feel loved? Because each one of us feels loved differently. Some people like to be together 24/7, do. I'm not that person. I don't need that much time and attention. So I want to offer it this way for Taurus, rising sun, moon, and stelliums. Now is a time when you look into your love life, not to judge it as you go down where you've been, but rather to say each one of those was a step or a stair in leading me to where I want to go, because spirit is bringing me a person who is aligned to me in a way that's much deeper than I initially may have wanted. So let me put it this way. If I had gotten married in my 20s, I don't know if I would have been invested in a spiritually minded man. I would have been invested in a washboard stomach or a really cute face or somebody who was good in bed. That might have been my criteria. But as I've gotten older, I realize that I need something that I consider to be deeper, conversation for me is very important. Being able to be aligned and to talk about spiritual concepts. I wouldn't have gone there in my 20s. And when I look back at who I was dating back then, those people did not move into a spiritual dynamic. They kind of stayed in there. I dated a lot of Capricorns, and they stayed in their Capricorn energy doing that, So now, if I'm really honest with myself, Taurus, maybe now is the best time ever for me to actually be able to be in a partnership and to be the best partner. So I think what Spirit is asking and is saying, as we go through this full moon, as we go through this eclipse season, which is bringing in fated events aren't always actual situations. Sometimes they're interior emotional things that they come to a conclusion, they come to a head, and then we are released from them because they were reconciled. They make sense to us. So when I look at my love life, I can have compassion for how I felt. I can look and say, there's still life coming, as long as I'm willing to go to my deeper truth and take action on it. And I can't find him. I'm not going to find him by myself. He's not going to be on Match.com or Bumble or whatever, these swipe left, swipe right. So I'm going to let Spirit take care of it. And I'm just going to hold the line of allowing Spirit. Oftentimes we talk about the law of allowing, right? Oh, I want this in my life. I want to attract this, the law of attraction. But it is the law of allowing that really gives the law of attraction its roots, because Spirit brings us things all the time. And sometimes we think, I'm not good enough for this, or I'm not qualified enough for this, or, oh, once this person gets to know me, and that's the law of allowing being messed up. That's getting in Spirit's way. So a discerning eye. Does this really line up with what I want? Does this really line up with my deeper truth? And if it does, then allow Spirit to continue to lay those breadcrumbs, to follow those divinely guided inspirations. All right, on to Aries, our final sign. Okay. Okay, here we go. Kedra, I love to see that. 3 kids, they can be stressful, but law of allowing. Yeah, I read the law of magnetism and loved myself before I found him. Exactly. It is. And people think, when we're young, we think, oh, I have to love, if I love you, then you'll love me back. But I feel like it's, if I love me, then I'll teach you how to love me back. That's kind of how I want to put it. All right, here we go. I don't know, Ashanti, maybe your connection is challenged. I'm not getting any signals that's telling me that I'm having problems. Usually it'll tell me if it's having a moment. All right, here we go. Final sign, Aries, rising sun, moon, and stelliums. I don't want this to be so long. Okay. Our first angel is Francesca. The second is Fiona. The third is Isabella. And the final is Serena. All right, Aries, remember, Mars is in Aries right now, and it's going to be in Aries for 6 months because of a retrograde. Normally, it's like only in there for, I think, 6 weeks maybe, or 2 months. I'm not quite sure. So this is a really, again, another unprecedented dynamic astrologically. So here we have, not only is Aries the planet of they say the warrior. They can say, Aries gets pissed off and can be resentful, but Aries, and when David Cochran did his video with Lada, I was jumping up and down because he said that Aries is the truth seeker, which is why Aries can be so assertive when it smells nonsense. And that just resonated with me. So here we go, Aries. Joining Francesca is the High Priestess. Joining Fiona is the Lady of the Lake, representing absolute truth. There is Isabella, representing joy. Oh, I'm sorry. Isabella is being joined by the Joy card. And Serena is being joined by the Dragon. Okay. All right. So, Aries, what do you visualize right now? Focus on that. Negativity will block your progress. And then here is the High Priestess. This is about focusing in on the bigger picture of what you want, the bigger picture of, we just got done talking about Taurus and about intimate relationships. So now this is the time when I go to the place where the relationship works, where the job is fabulous, where my friends are amazing. It is time to start to focus in on the bigger picture of what you want. And I want to say it this way, because the very focus of it, and this is what's so cool about being an Aries rising, is that it gives me the courage to believe. It gives me the strength and the tenacity to stick with it. So I feel like this is super important because I'm going to go to the final position for Aries. Serena, the angel of abundance. And abundance, she talks about money, but look how calm she is. She's literally her name, Serena, allowing God and the angels to bring her whatever she needs. And that's where her power and strength lies. And I say this because this is a wonderful, Aries has an opportunity over the next 6 months to teach us all something by allowing themselves, rather than being the warrior going in, bam, 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 instead holding the line for the truth. And as you hold the line for the truth, the Lady of the Lake, this is about self-respect, courage, the ability to step in your truth no matter how tumultuous the waters are. This is Excalibur. And then we have Fiona saying that God and the angels are in charge of your manifestation. What does it say? Now that you've asked God and the angels for help, be open to receiving their guidance and their inspirations. Now, I love when Serena and Fiona come out together, Aries, because this one is joyously excited, Fiona, about receiving what Spirit is going to give, and Serena is relaxed. These are very, very powerful energies. In the angel's advice, we have Isabella saying the timing is right for this new venture, and the joy card. Overall, for Aries, I want to say this. Here we have lunar eclipse, full moon, ushering in the ending of one dynamic, the beginning of another dynamic. As you step into a bigger version of what you want for yourself, not about the timing of it, not about the viability of implementing it right now, but just the vision of it. That's what the High Priestess is talking about, the vision. And then rather than going into the negativity of, oh, the world's doing this and da-da-da-da-la-la-la, instead, thanking God and the angels for giving you the signs and the omens when it's time to take action. And when you do so, you do it joyously because Spirit has given you the thumbs up. And this is where your power and strength and manifestation lies. And this is where I believe you have the most opportunity to be influential over others, because as they witness you relaxed in your version of yourself, this worry is really always, to me, 99.9% of the time, worry is running the scenarios and running the situations that won't work for me. So I feel like this is, for Aries, a time to be brave and tenacious, and in some ways, a little bit myopic, as I stand in the version of what I want for myself. And then my strength comes as I start to feel Spirit support me by bringing me, I want to say it almost feels like it comes in phases. Like as one thing comes into play, then that capitalizes on the next thing. And or I should say the next thing then capitalizes. So it feels like it builds on it. So that's where I'm going. Overall, for Aries, it's a time this week, this moon, this period, this 2020, to really dig deep about what is the truth of what you want to experience, what it is you want to birth on this planet, and then stepping back a bit and allowing Spirit to start to inspire you, start to put down these stepping stones for you to walk on that will then support the next step and the next step. Okay. Welcome, Patty. Welcome, Martina. I think I saw you in the chat way back when somewhere. Did I? I hope so. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for being here. We have come to the end of this week's. Oh, yeah, there you are, Martina. Good to see you. I want to thank everybody for being here. Again, this is a time to be extremely gentle with yourself, to try to be gentle with those around you as we unearth deeper truths that are important to us, and we see the oftentimes in opposition, there's a lot of commonality. So as a tribe, I hope that we will seek the common between us versus what is different, that we will see that we all want to be loved. We all want to feel accepted. We all want to be able to create our own version of happiness, nirvana here on earth. So let's hold space for that. And I'll be back next Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Pacific time with messages from your angels for traversing the transits. I hope you'll all be back to join me. Sending lots of love to you. And now it's time for me to say, peace out. See you later.